BBFC are responsible for handing out classifications for films and age group. For a U age-rated film, it's meant to be suitable for all. It should be set within a positive moral framework and offering reassuring counterbalances of the violence, threat and horror it has. Youth films are not always squeaky clean. When classifying a youth film, BBFC takes into account the language, sex, violence and any behaviour that could possibly be copied by a child. Youth films should make a clear distinction between right and wrong. Youth films, it considers any antisocial activities such as stealing. An example I'll give you is of the film Aladdin, which came out in 1990, which was basically, there was a scene where Aladdin was seen stealing in a market. This is it's impossible to predict the effect that this might have on a child. There should be no potential dangerous behaviour that should be for a child to be able to copy. Another film that is a U-rated film is Alvin and the Chipmunks. There was complaints of the use of a Swiss Army knife by the main character Alvin, but the message in the film is pretty clear that knives are dangerous. So, and plus overall the film is set within a positive moral framework. So it evens out throughout the whole film, so that even if there is some type of scenes where they might not be suitable for a child, some people might argue, but over the film it should be suitable. That's why it's given that classification. PG films for 8 years and over. Some scenes won't be suitable for children. They may contain themes of language, behaviours that offend parents had they been in a lower category. I can give you an example which came out last year, Mr. Popper's Penguins. This had mild comic threat, had one use of the word spaz. BBFC told that it needed to be taken off, as this is a discrimination by a character that a child can readily identify and is likely to be unacceptable. Given the film had an obvious appeal to a young audience, BBFC advised the company to remove or substitute the word to secure the desired PG. Some parents concerned about the violence, some parents obviously may be concerned about the violence that it has violence that it has on children. So, it depends on different type of parents. You know, they'll have different problems. 12A is basically under 12s can be accompanied by an adult to watch a 12 rated film. Examples I can give you is Transformers, Pirates of the Caribbean, and The Dark Knight. Casino Royale, which is a film. There was a scene where James Bond was tortured, but there's a reason why it was a 12 and not a 15, because there was no concentration on blood and injuries at 12, whereas in a 15, like something like Die Hard, there's frequent violence in it. The film is Titanic, which contains moderate nudity. A lot of people complain about the scene where she undressed in front of him, but the scene was important for the story as it showed that the deep love that both characters shared. Another film could be Transformers. It's violence between mechanical characters. It has a single use of the F word. That's because infrequent strong language is allowed in a 12A. However, it stood out to some viewers because it's a film based on children's toys, so it obviously has an appeal to a young audience. A 15 rated classification, so it's suitable for 15 years and over, contains strong violence, more frequent strong language. Example I can give you is Die Hard. There's a lot of strong action in Die Hard, and the action just goes from one scene to the next. There's explosions, there's constant violence basically. Another film I give you is Green Street Hooligans. This is again I give you an example from the difference from a 12 rated film to a 15. There's frequent strong language. Again, a lot of scenes of unjustified violence. There's more concentration on blood and injuries in the film. It used to be the case that if there was a F word used more than once, it will just straight away be moved up to a 15, but that's not the case anymore. They'll take the whole film into consideration before they put it up a category or advise the company, you know, you have to sort that out. 18 is again basically will have bad language, strong violence, drug use, possibly have drug use, and high levels of nudity. They like to have very disturbing scenes. An example I can give you is Scarface. The last scene, obviously, and throughout the film, there's a lot of violence, but in the last scene especially, it's all packed together. Obviously, there's constant use of cocaine. In that last scene, even he's using the straight use of drug use, to the violence, to the bad language, all just put in together. If it's a lower category, it can be moved up. But if it's an 18, it will just be rejected, or they'll have to make significant cuts, have to be made for that to secure the classification of an 18 film. Thank you.